Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So, today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 21, Instructions by Maharaj Prithu. Text 5. Shanka dundubi goshena brahma goshena chartvijam vivisha bhavanam vira stuyamano gatasmayaha. Translation. When the king entered the palace, conch shells and kettle drums were sounded, priests chanted Vedic mantras, and professional reciters offered different prayers. But in spite of all this ceremony to welcome him, the king was not the least bit affected. Purport. The reception given to the king was full of opulence, yet he did not become proud. It is said, therefore, that great personalities of power and opulence never become proud, and the example is given that a tree which is full of fruits and flowers does not stand erect in pride, but instead bends downwards to show submissiveness. This is a sign of the wonderful character of great personalities. Hare Krishna. So today we continue our discussion on how the citizens have received their king Prithu with different expressions of honor and gratitude. And it is mentioned in this verse that in spite of all this ceremony to welcome him, the king was not the least bit affected. And it's mentioned in the purport how the great personalities are always meek and humble, that they not stand proud. And this is a really important message. But before we will discuss this, there is one other point that we didn't cover yesterday. And in yesterday's verse, it was mentioned that the king was welcomed also with Kanya Kumaris, with young virgin girls. And that these young virgin girls are auspiciousness for the society. Yes. And it is mentioned in the purport by Srila Prabhupada how women are to be always protected in youth by their by their fathers, in during the mature age by their husbands, and in old age by their grown-up children. In Bhagavad Gita, in first chapter, Arjuna, who wanted to avoid fight with his relatives and friends, he said that Papam eva shaitasman hatvaitam atatayana. Papa eva shaitasman hatvaitam atatayana. Dharma nashte kulankritsnam adharmo bibhavat yuta. Adharmo bibhavat Krishna pradushyanti kulastriya. Strishu dushtasu varshnaya jayati varna sankara. And he says that if sin overcomes the society, then women are not protected, and they become corrupt. and by corruption of women, the unwanted population arise. Yes, and by unwanted population, the whole society goes to hell. This is extremely important to understand. In modern world, it's so much stress on the equal rights between men and women. Of course, we should understand what this really means. In this world, actually, no one is equal. Everyone is different. And also, we have different rights. No one has equal rights, actually. For example, it is expected from the young person who travels by bus, for example, and it's full bus, that he will stand up and give a seat to an elderly person. And if he doesn't do this, he's considered rude and unpolite. So this elderly person has, we can say, right to sit, and this young person doesn't have. He doesn't have the same right to sit as this elderly person. And so children, they don't have the same right to decide what to do and what not to do as their parents. It's the duty of the parent to instruct the child and to discipline the child. If he doesn't perform, if the parent doesn't perform his duty, he abuses the child, actually. So we should perform our duty according to our social role and social position. Yes, and because women are by nature weaker sex, not just physically weaker, but also mentally weaker, because they are more emotional, and this is needed for women to be emotional, because if women are not emotional, they cannot take proper care for children. Men should be tough. Yes. If men are emotional, then they cannot protect anyone, not even themselves, what to speak of their dependents. So everyone has his role in society and in life. And if we follow this role according to Vedic principles, we can achieve prosperity in this world. This is explained in the third chapter of Bhagavata-gita. Sahaya gyah prajashtvarstva purovacha prajapati anena prasavishtadvam esavashtvishta kamaduk. That the Lord, at the beginning of creation, he created yagya, or sacrifice. And sacrifice doesn't mean only to throw some grains in the fire, if you are Vedic. It can also mean to sacrifice animals or whatever. There is a custom and culture. But sacrifice really means to devote our property, our intellectual property, our emotional property, our physical property, whatever we have, whatever abilities we have, for Lord satisfaction. And this is explained just previous to this verse that we quoted. and it is yagyartat karmano niyatra lokoyan karma bandhana tadartam apikanta mukta sangak samachara. That every work that we perform, and work is not just outward work with our hands, but it's also our intellectual work, our emotional work, because everything is some action. Every thought is an action. So everything should be devoted to the Supreme for His satisfaction. If we don't perform for His satisfaction, we are bound. Yes, we are just slaves of this world. So, to follow this social etiquette is also some kind of austerity, because maybe this young person who is commuting on a bus, maybe he's tired. Who knows what he had to perform this day, or if it is morning, how his night was passed. Maybe he's sick even, or anything like this. But it is expected from him that he will give his place to an old elderly person. So this is also a sacrifice. So it's not easy. Sacrifice is not always easy. The word sacrifice, it means that we make something sacred. Yes, this is important. So we should make our life sacred. And women's chastity is something extremely sacred. So virgin girls were considered to be something extremely sacred in society. Now, of course, because the whole society is deluded, people don't appreciate much this virtue of women, and therefore the society is completely degraded, because women are first gurus of society. Yes, we should understand this, that women are first guru of societies. Whatever mother says goes extremely deep to the heart of a child. Yes, because the child is completely dependent on his mother, especially if he's properly cared for by his mother. In modern world, majority of children, and that means great majority of children, practically every child, is terribly abused. People of modern world speak a lot about children's rights and how not to abuse children, but the same society extremely abuses children, because majority of children are deprived of the most essential thing in life, the most basic right that they have, and that is mother's love. Mothers are sent to work, to pursue their careers, and so on. And this is extreme abuse of children. Yes. If the child doesn't have mother at home, this is a child abuse. Yes. Because a child needs his mother. The child needs mother's love. If the child is left to some strangers, and people in kindergartens and people in schools, they're strangers. They're not mothers. Even if they're good by heart, they cannot replace mother. No one can replace a mother. No one. No one can replace mother's milk from her breasts. Nothing can replace mother's milk from the breasts. Nothing. And if the child is deprived of this, this is the worst type of child abuse. And this child abuse is supported by modern society. So we should know that we should take good care of children and don't deprive them of mother's love. And mother's love is expressed through Krishna consciousness. If mother is not Krishna conscious, her love is just a sentiment. Yes. And actually puts the child in the lap of death. Not that the child is protected by his mother, but is killed by the mother if the mother is not Krishna conscious, because then mother will put material consciousness into the heart of a child. Yes, and material consciousness means death. It's as simple as that. Very simple mathematics. If we have material consciousness, we'll die and we'll be reborn again and again and again, and we'll suffer material tribulations again and again and again, as we suffer now. Everyone is suffering. So it's proof. This is a proof. If we don't develop Krishna consciousness, we'll be just left to the slaughterhouse of material nature. So mother has great responsibility to give love to her children, yes, and to teach them Krishna consciousness by her own example of complete dedication to chanting of the holy names. Yes, because without her sincere chanting, the children will not have faith in the path of bhakti. But it is also important to understand that men are responsible that their wives are devotees. Yes, this is great responsibility on men. If men are not strong, then women will not feel protected. Because if the man is weak and it can be commanded by a woman, then such a woman, even if she has a command, she will not feel protected because she's more powerful than her protector. If he's under her command, so that means that she's more powerful than he is. And no woman, I have never met a woman in my life that, and I'm not so young anymore, that she would like to have a weak husband or a weak boyfriend. Yes. So no woman likes to have a weak husband. So, but if the husband is weaker than she is, that means that she doesn't feel protected, and therefore she's not satisfied. So a husband should be extremely strong personality. Yes, and offer all protection to her wife and to the children. Yes. And women are by nature more emotional, and they should be, because otherwise, how can they care for a little child? And if man is too emotional, he cannot be strong, and he cannot have a clear understanding of things. Yes. Because emotions will blur your vision, proper, sharp understanding. Yes, and this is the duty of husbands, of fathers, to be very strong, to be extremely strict to themselves, most strict to themselves, to be men of principles. Shri Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadramayi ki jai, Shri Chadbuj Mahaprabhu ki jai. Yes, so man should be should live according to high principles in life, and be extremely strict to themselves and to sons, especially to sons, because if sons are raised with these strict fathers, very strong fathers, then they also can become strong and strict and gentlemen. Yes. And they can give protection to women and children. Yes. So and in this verse, today's verse, it is mentioned that great personalities are very meek and humble. And without this meekness and humbleness, we cannot progress in devotional life or in spiritual life. We cannot make even first step, actually, in our spiritual progress. Yes. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Tridnada Pisanichana Turoriva Sahishnana Amanina Manadina Kirtaniyak Sadahari. That if one wants to be connected to the Lord, Kirtaniyak Sadahari, that means that we always glorify the Lord. One should be more humble than a blade of grass. More humble than a blade of grass. Trinada Pisanichana. Yeah. Trina means a blade of grass, but we should be more humble than a blade of grass. How it is possible to be more humble than a blade of grass? One would think that this is impossible, because the grass, everyone walks on the grass, spits on the grass, and the grass doesn't protest. But if we look closer to the life of the grass, of this blade of grass, we can see that this blade of grass is always fighting for its existence, fights with other grasses, and sometimes these plants have some poisonous substances that they wouldn't be eaten by other animals or destroyed. Yes. So although the grass is very insignificant, it struggles. It struggles for its existence. But we shouldn't struggle for our existence. Yes, we should understand that we don't exist on a material platform. We shouldn't exist on a material platform. So that means that we should humble. That means that we don't protest and we don't struggle for our material existence. And one of the most prominent struggles for material existence is defending. Everyone defends. These are the great urges of the body: sleeping, eating, mating, and defending. And if we regulate all these four, and especially if we give up defending, then we can be considered spiritually advanced, and then we can be considered humble also, because if we defend our existence, that means even if we are wrongly accused by someone, if we defend ourselves, that is a sign that we want to protect our existence, our material existence. Because if we are accused of something that we didn't do, of course, if we would be accused that we did something great and something very good, we wouldn't protest. But if we are accused that we did something wrong, then we protest, we defend. No, I didn't do it. Or even if we do it, if we have material consciousness, we say someone else did it, we didn't do it, or we didn't know that this is wrong, or anything, something we say in our defense. Or we do something in our defense, we fight for defense. Yes. And that means I want to protect my material existence. So it is very important and also very hard exercise to not protect ourselves. Yes. Please exercise this. Please exercise. Yes. Whenever accused or whatever is wrong, don't defend. Don't defend. Keep connected to the Lord in your heart. It is mentioned in our Shastras, in Srimad Bhagavatam, also by Srila Prabhupada's purport, that we shouldn't defend. It's very simple, but very hard. Yes, it's very hard exercise. So we should try hard to achieve this, not to defend ourselves, and then we can be humble. Then we can be humble. Of course, we shouldn't tolerate offense against other devotees. Then others, we should protect others, but not ourselves. Yes, we should defend others, not ourselves. Yes. So this is important. And to illustrate these 2 points about Kanyakumaris and this humbleness, I will relate a story from 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam of Lord Krishna. And this story is explained in 2 chapters. One is how Lord Krishna stole garments from unmarried gopis. Yes, this is very instructive story. Yesterday it was Radhashtami, and it is explained by our acharyas that Radha, Srimati Radharani, was invited when these Kanyakumaris, these gopis, young unmarried gopis, performed Katyayani Vrata, Katyayani Vrata. And when they finished 1 month austerity of eating only unspiced khichdi, for the completion of their sacrifice and of this worship, of this yagya, we can say, they invited also Vrishabhanu Nandini, that means Srimati Radharani, to to bathe with them as avabrita snana, that means ceremonial bath for the completion of the yagya. So the gopis went early in the morning and worshipped the deity of Durga, of Katyayani, with only one desire: please make the son of Maharaj Nanda my husband. Yes, this was their only desire. So it is instructive to us that whatever we do, even if we are engaged in material activities, so-called material activities, like worshipping of Durga, worshipping of Katyayani, is actually, one can say, it's material activity. Usually people and these young girls are worshipping Durga and Shiva to get good husband. Yes, and they prayed also to get the best of husbands, Lord Krishna himself. But it is instructive that whatever we do, we should do it with this one goal in mind and in heart. Let me serve Krishna, let me connect to Krishna, let me perform this duty just that Krishna would be happy, yes, and that his devotees would be happy. If I do whatever in my life without this idea that please Krishna, that I would like to make Krishna happy and Krishna's devotees happy, then everything is in vain. It's useless. Even if it is devotional service, it loses its potential, because then it is offensive, and offense can create obstacle in devotional service. So this devotional service doesn't come to Krishna because there is an obstacle put in between Krishna in our service. Yes. And so it's important to perform everything in life with this single idea: please Krishna, be happy. I want to make you happy by performing this work. I want to make happy your devotees. Yes. So these Kanya Kumaris, these gopis, they took this worship just to please Krishna. And when they took their bath, they put off their clothes and put them on the bank of Yamuna and took their bath naked. And then Krishna, because he understood the heart of the gopis, he came there and stole their garments and climbed the Kadamba tree and put all these women's garments and on the tree, and then he laughed very heartily to attract their attention, and he said, "Oh, this Kadamba tree is really wonderfully decorated, and I thought that this colorful fruits is growing on this Kadamba tree, and I was running to see this extraordinary extraordinary vision of this Kadamba tree. But I can see that there are colorful garments. Do you know, gopis, whose garments are these? And they said, they're our garments. And Krishna asked them, but how that you put these garments high in the tree? And the gopis said, you stole these garments and took them up the tree. And Krishna protested, do you call me a thief? Do you think I'm a thief? And then gopis, they didn't want to accuse Krishna to steal. And they said that that we don't know, but these are our garments. Just look and see if they're men's garments or women's garments. And he said, yeah, I understand that because they are colorful, they are women's garments. But who knows if these are your garments? And the gopis protested, how can be any other's garments than ours? And he said that maybe some other women are coming here and worship Durga, Katyayani. And they said, no, only we are here. And Krishna said, you foolish girls, you don't know that the demigoddesses come every night here and worship Durga. And they asked, and why would they leave these garments in the tree? And he said that you don't know anything. These demigoddesses will come this evening again, and after worship they will don these dresses again. So they would play such games, word games, here and there. But the point for us is, and which is also the message of these Kumaris, also expressed in this chapter, it's purity of heart. And that means that we should, in front of Krishna, we should take off all our upadis, all our garments, and put them away. To be completely naked in front of Krishna. Yes. And we should offer, as these gopis at the end, they came out of the water and offered their obeisance with folded hands above their heads, so they completely didn't cover at all, nothing in front of Krishna. So we shouldn't cover anything in front of Krishna. We should be completely naked in front of Krishna. Yes, naked of all our upadis. I'm this, I'm that. I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a child, I'm a grown-up person, I'm old, I'm young, I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Hare Krishna, I'm I don't know, Bulgarian, Slovenian, Chinese, Indian, whatever. These are all upadis. Sarvopadin vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchate. We should give up all these different upadis, these material designations, I'm this, I'm that. Yes, because these are just distractions from our relationship with Krishna. So this should be given up. And then when Krishna gave back these garments to the gopis, and they donned these dresses again, these were not the same dresses as before. These were dresses with Krishna's smell, nice fragrance of Krishna. because Krishna put these garments on his shoulders, and so it was permeated by his extremely sweet smell. So whatever social position and role we have, we can then, when we offer this completely in complete nakedness of soul to Krishna, we can also play our social role, but with this fragrance of Krishna. Yes, that means that we are completely dedicated for his pleasure. Then our work, our role of fathers, mothers, students, Hare Krishnas becomes spiritualized. Yes, becomes Krishnaized by Krishna's fragrance. Yes, if it is done for his pleasure. If it is done for his pleasure. Yes. Then these upadhis will be the means of our service. Yes. But we shouldn't, of course, identify with them. Yes. And then, after Krishna performed this lila with the gopis, he went with the boys, and Krishna started to glorify the trees in the forest. And he said how the trees are standing there for the benefit of everyone. Anyone who comes to the tree doesn't go away disappointed. Either he gets fruit of the tree or leaves from the tree, or he can sit in the shadow of a tree, or if he's needs fuel, gets fuel from the trees. Everything we can get from the trees. And he explained etavajjana safalyam dehinamiha dehishu pranar artardiyavacha shreya acharanam sada, that we should perform beneficial work to others by our life, by our wealth, by our everything we have. Yes, that this is everyone's duty. Yes. Itavat janma safalyam, that we should live only for this, for the benefit of others. Dehinamiha dehishu, every embodied living entity. Yes. Prana artar dhyavacha, that means with our life, with our prana, artha, with our wealth, with our intelligence, dhya, and vacha, with our words. We should serve everyone in this world. Yes. So we should engage in Krishna's service, and by performing Krishna's service, we should serve also every other living entity. And he, by this example, he wanted to give example how even the trees which serve other living entities are better than brahmanas that don't serve other living entities. And then he sent his cowherd boyfriends to these yagyak brahmanas who performed Angira's sacrifice, and with the request for food for Krishna and Balaram. And they didn't give them food. They performed sacrifice for the purpose to attain heavenly planets. Yes, and this is very significant to understand that whatever we perform, if we perform it for our material benefit, we are like these yagyak brahmanas. Yes. And this benefit can be also subtle. It doesn't need to be very gross, to be perceived by anyone. Maybe looks like it's completely for Krishna. It's dedicated for Krishna. We may use every single penny for Krishna's service, we can say. But we want to be recognized in the eyes of others, maybe. And if we have such a desire, that means that actually we didn't perform this for Krishna's service, for Krishna's satisfaction, and with bhakti, but we perform this with material consciousness and with material purpose in mind. Yes, with the desire to enjoy heavenly pleasures, actually. Whatever we perform in this world with the intention to be materially happy, it is with this idea to enjoy heavenly planets, to enjoy heavenly pleasures. Yes, it's not just performing of sacrifice with this to go to Svargaloka. Even everyone actually wants to create Svargaloka here in this world. Yes, so we should understand. And this pride is the token or a sign of material consciousness, of wanting to enjoy heavenly pleasures. Because pride means I'm the enjoyer, I'm the center of the universe. Everyone should serve me. Why should I serve anyone? And even if I serve, this is basically service to our material prosperity, to our material happiness. Yes. So it's extremely important to direct all our service just to make Krishna happy and the devotees happy. This is one point. And another is that we should put ourselves out of the center and put Krishna in the center. Yes, to be very humble and meek, and not to defend ourselves, as we explained before. Yes, this is the sign of humbleness and meekness. If we don't defend, because this defense means I want to protect my existence, my material existence. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention. Do you have any question? Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.